You're live.
I haven't even checked my microphone levels.
It's a good thing I checked them.
Something about that was just like, oh wait, is my microphone turned on?
Yes, yes.
Can the people hear me?
When I was talking to you, I picked up one of the microphones and went, into it to check that it was the right one. All right. Oh, good. The 3D printer just finished as well, so that's not going to be making noises in the background.
Excellent timing.
Yes. All right. Oh, big stretch.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Two Guys Talk Tech. It's Sunday, 11th of May, 2022. You're confused. Me too. I've been awake 3 hours.
I see. Is that why you were slightly late?
Kinda, yeah. Maybe. Ever so slightly.
Well, hello. Welcome, friend.
Welcome, traveller.
It is Saturday, the 12th of April. Just to be clear. Yeah, welcome to the podcast, everyone. Here we are. We are here. Hello. How are we doing? I've got bits to tinker with today, so I'm going to tinker with bits. I was just saying to Caradog, I think I've cocked up because I've got to do this contains a keyboard that I'm going to put a new USB port on. And I was like, oh yeah, it's just a USB port. I can solder that on the podcast bench. But actually, I'm not sure that I can, which means I may end up just moving the bench cam and stuff back over there. And so yeah, too much exposure. Yeah, we are slightly.
We've gone hot today.
Yeah, we are slightly hot. I noticed it initially when I sat down. I was like, oh, that's probably good enough. But it almost looks like it's actually gone slightly. It's drifted a bit. But I'm guessing it's on manual.
Also, the preview looked stuttery there.
I thought it looked a bit 30 FPS as well, but I don't know.
It's awful. 30 FPS is terrible.
You're the camera guy.
It's your computer.
I mean, I'd go and fix the exposure, but I don't know how to. So I'm afraid you are going to have to get up.
Fine. I can do that bit. I can't fix the fact that your computer seems to be stuttering.
Okay, well, I love it how it's my computer when there's something wrong with it, eh? It's 60. It's fine, yeah. As I say, we're just a little bit hot. There we go. Yeah, that's good.
Man's not hot. Big Shack.
I was trying to remember the thing. 2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3 quick maths.
That's a different song.
Well, that's the one that I think of. I can't remember Man's Not Hot. It's all Roadman stuff anyway, or something. I don't know. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to the show. The audio level's a bit low.
Get your thing out the box.
Audio level. Yeah, my mic's a little bit low. I think I'm gonna dial it up. We're mumbling as well. So
get your thing out.
Yeah. Hold on a sec. There we go. All right. I've just moved my microphone up a bit, so that should help.
Oh.
Oh, are you trying to turn up the microphone gain or something?
Well, I was just making sure that Windows hadn't randomly gone.
Oh, yeah, because it does that, yeah. I was going to say, I don't think we can actually do that from here because of the way the...
Oh, no, you also need to activate Windows to change your microphone volume.
Really? That's nuts.
Yep.
What the heck? Yeah, you need to activate Windows before you can personalize your PC.
You also need to you need to activate Windows to change your output volume.
Wait, we can just change the volume in the bottom right though, right? Yeah, that one works.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably open the legacy control panel and change the sound settings there, but that's kind of wild.
Oh, that's hilariously stupid.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, I was going to say, when we open the legacy one, we can change that. But how strange.
Can we? Oh, yes,
yeah, it's just,
now we can.
Yeah, but I was going to say, the PC does not feel okay today, yeah. Right, if you dial that up to... Yeah, we just added in another 5% on the Windows thing. So, yeah, fine. Whatever. Also, I'm going to move my microphone to my left side so I'm not speaking away from it. You must pay for subs to warm your car seats.
You wouldn't steal an OS, would you?
Yeah. Also, I thought I activated Windows on this computer at some point. Maybe I didn't bother.
I mean, it's clearly somewhat activated because there's no watermark.
Yeah, like I haven't done anything to remove that watermark. I thought I just activated Windows on this at some point. I was just like, yeah, we're not like, because a Windows key is £4, and I was just like, I'm just going to pay £4 to activate Windows on this PC. Why would? Because like even if we disassemble this and I recycle the parts somewhere else, I'm going to, if I sell the motherboard, I'm going to want to run Windows on it. Like, there's no point in not activating Windows on a motherboard that you own, you know.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It's probably worth us, as we said, was saying about that machine, is just actually upgrading these machines. It's next generation for everything, basically.
Yeah.
Only because, as far as I'm, because it won't have official Windows 11 support.
No.
And stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's worth next generation. What would that be? AMD 10,000, assuming they keep the same numbering.
Yeah.
Intel 15th gen, 16th gen.
I might leave
at
that
that
one.
point.
Yeah, I might leave the YouTube rig as is for now because it is still doing what I need it to do. And
Oh
also,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Next generation.
Yeah, sure. But also what I'm thinking as well is that I've been doing obviously this is the summer of Windows 11 upgrades. And I am doing a small number of upgrades on. I am doing a small number of upgrades on unsupported systems where appropriate. Like, for example, people coming in with 7th gen systems and 7th gen laptops where it's not technically eligible for Windows 11, but you're like, it's fine. It can totally run 11,
It's not a Pentium Silver.
Yeah. But obviously, the problem is that we don't know what that's going to look like long term. We don't know if Microsoft is going to randomly decide to throw a watermark onto unsupported PCs. So I'm kind of tempted to keep the 7th gen i7 in the YouTube rig because that's the one that I daily drive.
True.
And do the Windows 11 upgrade on it, just so I'm daily driving an unsupported Windows 11 PC because that keeps me in touch. That keeps me directly in touch with people who are running on unsupported PCs. So
Yes.
yeah, because obviously my PC at home is supported, so that's the vanilla experience. And if at work I'm running the unsupported experience, bloody blah 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 blah. So yeah, I might do that because I need to do the 11 upgrade because man, 10 is feeling really dated now. Whenever I open whenever I open settings on Windows 10 on the YouTube rig, I'm just like, man, this PC looks old. It is. I'm very firmly of the opinion now that I'm just like, yeah, I'm actually kind of done with Windows 10. I'm just like, we're ready to use 11. Don't bother, Are you about to shill?
Yes.
Go for it.
That's fine. It was only because someone said, "Oh, where to get
I see.
Windows keys."
Yep.
So I was actually replying to chat, but
Fair
it was
enough,
just the fact
yes.
that it wasn't pinned in our message history, and I thought I'd pinned it in our message history.
We get. I buy my Windows keys and Office keys and other keys from gamers-outlet.net. Here is my tracking link. Not sponsored. I did ask them for a sponsor. They did not reply to me when I quoted them, so I asked for too much. But yeah. I was to be honest, I was kind of ambitious when I made them the offer. I think at the time, I think I asked for like 500 USD or something like that.
But for 2 spots.
Yeah.
You were offering it at like a $250 a spot, which was more than you were getting for the other stuff.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So we'd intentionally pitched it, so the total monetary expenditure was high, but actually the cost per slot was way lower than you were getting advertised.
Yeah,
from other
that's
places.
true. And also, like, it's a simple shill as well. They would have gotten customers from that. But at any rate, the affiliate link, I get kickbacks from that. So I think maybe that was the other reason they might have not gotten back to me, because the affiliate link had very little traffic on it at the time. So maybe give it some time, and once the affiliate link has got more sales on it, they'll suddenly be like, okay, yeah, we'd actually be interested in doing something with you.
Possibly. But anyway, at the same time, if you're getting, percentages off the keys anyway, it's still something.
It's true, yeah. So yes, that's fair. How many PCs do you have in your shop, excluding those for sale? It might be worth running a licensing server. So is a licensing server like for volume license?
Yeah.
I don't know enterprise.
Because you've only got 3.
No, yeah,
haven't you?
pretty much. Yeah, there's the backup
1,
rig,
2, 3,
the YouTube
3
rig, the stream rig, and like there's an iMac on the front counter, but obviously that's an iMac, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
So yeah, the infrastructure in here is not complicated.
Yeah, it's 3 pushing up to a 4 if you're being generous, kind of thing.
So yeah, not worth it. And yeah, as I say, considering a Windows key is like, it's probably like £5 after you've paid for processing and transaction fees from Gamers Outlet. So it's just like, who cares? It's a £5. It costs, you know, a pint costs that much these days. But yes, speaking of affiliate stuff and shilling, I figure I'll.
I thought you were going to say, talking of pints.
No, but
okay.
Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, I'm going into business with JLC. So yeah,
excellent.
And so I kind of wanted to make that announcement just to drum up some interest on that. So yeah, I have signed a sponsorship deal with JLCPCB. Obviously, I did the one-time video for them when I did the previous Slime VR video, and now I'm going to be doing 1 video a month for them, which will be a dedicated project video where I make a thing using services from JLC. So I've got another Slime VR video in the works, but I was going to put that out on the second channel because I don't think the mainline audience super cares about it, because I've made 2 videos on that now. However, I kind of the contract starts for April. And we're kind of halfway through April, and I'm just like, so I'm going to retool the Slime VR video that is like 90% done and release it as the April version of that, because I used JLC for the PCBs there anyway. So I'm going to do that. But then there's going to be maker videos, so I'm going to be looking for ideas and input from people, basically saying, I need to make things. Submit your ideas for things that I can make, you know. And yeah, so like the first one, the one I've got lined up for May, that I'm starting to do preliminary research on, is I'm going to make a macro pad. So I did want to do a custom keyboard, but that's still doable, but I'm dialing the scope back a bit to something smaller, just like, let's do something smaller and simpler first, and then do the keyboard later, you know. So yeah. So that's going to be a thing. So there will be another Slime VR video, and I know that most people probably don't care. However, I'm getting paid to put it out there, so I don't care. So yes, but yeah, so I'll be looking for ideas from people. So stay tuned for that, and that will be good. So yeah.
Have they required you to actually do a maker video with it, or can you just run it as an ad spot in a video?
So the actual agreement is one integration, which is an ad read, and 1 project video a month. And my understanding is that I'm doing that in the same. You know, I should actually double check, because I don't think I've seen this explicitly stated in our discussion. I need to actually double check with them. Is it okay for the integration read to be in the project video? Just to make sure there's no misunderstandings here, because like the project video is already, well, I guess because without the integration, the project video wouldn't necessarily say this is sponsored by JLC. I would just be featuring their product. But my intention was to do the sponsor read in the project video.
Yeah.
So the other 3 videos would stay ad free, so to speak. But yeah, I should actually just double check.
And by ad free, you mean have your merch links in them?
Yeah, sure. But yeah, I should actually just send another message to my contact and actually say, just so we're clear here, the sponsor read will be in the project video. So you get the 2 things that you're paying for will be in the same video, you know. But yeah, I need to double check that. People asking about Gamers Outlet being legit. Well, these are I would imagine these are grey market keys. Most of the time, these are keys that are. What's the term when? What's the developer license where you get unlimited things? I can't remember.
We've no idea where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But they might also just be keys that are sold to Venezuela.
Yeah. So I just refer to them as grey market keys. Yeah. They are real keys, but they're keys that are being sold in a manner other than intended. It's like buying a multi-pack of crisps and selling them one at a time at a kiosk. It's a case of they're real crisps, but you're not supposed to sell them separately. So yeah.
Sorry, I imagine that being you take a multi-bag of crisps and you sell people NFTs.
One crisp, no.
NFTs of crisps, so they're not even buying real crisps.
Cans of Coke is what I should have said. Yeah, multi-pack cans of Coke where it says multi-pack do not sell separately. So yeah. So yeah, they're grey market keys. However, unlike the Office keys, you have to do the phone license for that, phone activation for those, because they've clearly been used at some point before. But I have used many of, like the Windows keys, I've never had one fail on me. And the Office keys, whenever I do the phone activation, it says, got to do phone activation. I do the phone activation. How many PCs you've installed this on? I put it on one, and it says, yeah, that's fine. You're now activated. Again, never had one fail on me. So they are grey market, but they work every time for me. And considering how much Microsoft charges otherwise, I have no concerns about using them, basically. And yeah, I've been using them I've been using Gamers Outlet for a couple of years now. So yeah.
Yeah.
So years.
It's also kind of the case of certainly in the situations where you're using them kind of chucking them on people's PCs and so on. They're at a price where if it were to come back in and no longer be activated and you couldn't get the key to work again, you'd buy another one and go, oh no, my £4.
Yeah, that's it.
So
yeah. Like they cost so little that the cost of failure is negligible. So you just buy another one.
It's a case, I think, that you should put your like Amazon links and stuff in videos.
Yeah.
And just say, if you want to use my link for your existing Amazon purchases, do not buy additional stuff for me.
Yes.
You can give me a small kickback.
Yes.
Support.
Yeah, I do need to start doing that just because the channel is big enough that affiliate links and stuff do work. Some fun facts. The secure soldering iron videos, those did quite well, and lots of people bought the hot tweezers, and and because those are affiliate links, I've got a healthy kickback out of that.
I've got 75 pence, he says.
Well, yeah, no, it's the commission rate on that is very reasonable.
Yeah.
So yeah, those videos did well. Like the tweezers did better than the S99 iron, but that's also not surprising. There are multiple factors involved in that. The tweezers are more interesting because the iron was just an iron, but that's why I released both videos at the same time, because the iron video was basically a burner video.
Yeah.
That's a strong way of putting it, but it wasn't one that I cared about.
Yeah.
And it's severely underperformed, but also part of that might have been because I released it immediately after I released it at the same time. Yeah. So the newer one got buried because I released 2 videos consecutively and blah blah blah. But yeah, and past that also, when I started talking to JLC again to talk about sponsorship stuff, when I last spoke to them, they were just like, oh yeah, your last video did really well. We got lots of orders through there. And they said, we actually owe you X hundred USD for the commission stuff. And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, thanks. Send it to my PayPal.
You're just like, yes, you do.
Yeah.
What do you mean you haven't paid me already?
Well, I'm surprised they hadn't sent it through because they already had my details, because obviously they paid me for the video in the first place.
Yeah.
But at any rate, it did well. So that's the thing, is just affiliate links and stuff, they do work. My only concern is just making sure that I'm shilling stuff that I actually think works, basically. So just to confirm, I'm talking about shilling here, but I will only do stuff that I would use or believe in.
Yeah,
like
it's why I was kind of saying about just the generic Amazon links. So it's the shopping that people are already doing, but it has your tag on it. So it's not a link to a specific product, but just that kind of generic tagged one.
Yeah.
It's like we were saying about HP went through that period of time where the default HP install of Windows 10 redirected all of your eBay, Amazon, and something else purchases to an HP affiliate link.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're saying about you could totally do that in almost any repair shop, and basically no one would notice. But that's not the point. The point is you feel disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Yeah. Hello, PNov as well. Grey market Windows Pro keys are very often MAK keys. Single key for like 50 machines. MS can decide to ban them as they want in the future. Fun fact, you yourself can use the same key multiple times. I have observed that those keys do work multiple times.
Yeah.
I don't use them multiple times, just in case. Although, based on what you've just told me, it sounds like it wouldn't matter if I did.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't actually change the
And it's
thing.
also the case of the cost of failure is £4.
Yeah, again, I haven't had anyone's computer just suddenly get unactivated yet, so certainly not an issue yet. But yeah. What was I about to say? So yeah, the affiliate links, I do need to integrate those more and just sort of promote that a little bit more because it's useful stuff.
It'd be worth building up a resource section on the Discord as well of just kind of affiliate links.
Yeah, I need to do that just because also that's to finish off the tools list because we did the draft of the tools list, and I need to then put together all of the affiliate links for that so I can link that in the description. So yeah, I need to finish that off.
Yeah.
But yeah, however, also the thought that I was about to finish about again. Let it be said that again, I will only shill stuff that I believe in because, like, I've got. I don't know if you've heard of that. The company Fume, FU_M. They do like a weird vape products. They shill with YouTubers quite a lot.
I've seen something about that.
It's spelled FUM, but like the U has like an umlaut or whatever you call that on it. That mouse was working earlier on. Yeah.
It doesn't wake up when it goes to sleep. It can't wake up from the sensor. You have to click it.
Interesting. But at any rate,
Yay, budget mice.
Yeah, they've been pinging my inbox a couple of times, and I'm just like, that would be the easiest shill in the world because it's not even a product that I have to demonstrate.
Fum.
Yeah, it's pronounced fume, I think, but yeah.
This is my fume.
Yeah.
Well, if it's an umlaut, it's an oo, so it's a fume.
Yeah.
This is my fume.
But that's the point, it's just like I do not smoke, I do not vape, I do not know anything about any of these products, so no.
Oh no.
Yeah. The fact that like Caradog's just brought up their website and they're like sort of healthy products and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh hell no. Oh no, I'm not touching that with a barge pole, my guy.
No, not just that. The fact that they're like fume for if you fidget. A vape as a fidget toy.
Yeah.
That is horrifying.
Yeah, that's it. And like that's it. There's not a doubt in my mind they would pay me healthy cash. I could take that money anytime I like.
Unhealthy cash.
Yeah. And like that would be the easiest shill in the world. But I'm just like, no, I'm not touching that with a barge pole. Like that one would be easier than Temu money because with Temu I still have to actually buy some stuff and make a video about it, But it's just like, no, I didn't take the Temu money either.
I'm surprised that you don't have an AliExpress one.
I think I dropped the ball on that. AliExpress have reached out to me in the past. But I dropped the ball on that one. I should probably reach out because, like, I do buy stuff from AliExpress.
I also think you should genuinely clickbait up a PC build video that says, like, I bought this CPU on AliExpress, kind of thing.
Yeah, the problem is the ship for that just sailed because LTT just did that for the 7500F.
So?
I guess, yeah, but
You already have a video that's out where you mention in the first few moments, I bought this CPU on on AliExpress. You literally just need to retitle the existing video.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
That's what I mean, only
Yeah.
so it tags up with AliExpress being in there and so on. So if AliExpress
Yeah.
come back, you know, do a search for, oh, who's talking about us? Your channel will pop up again.
Yeah, they messed up. 7700 is a better deal. It had, yeah, recently, but don't forget, Si. It takes time for the updates to trickle down. Like that when LTT did their video, that video probably got produced a couple weeks ago, maybe a month, you know, before the 7700 became the more viable option. Same reasons to why I didn't have a 7700 for that PC build. It was because I bought that CPU before Christmas, you know. So yeah.
How much are 7700s right now?
Yeah, good question, because I need to buy one. I need to replace the chip that I've just used. So yeah. Yeah, affiliate link iFixit kits. Yeah, I need to talk to iFixit because I had a very high up person from iFixit reach out to me a while back and just established contact with me that I was very excited about, but I haven't heard back from them since. So I should probably poke them and just say, hey, you kind of reached out last year, you know, maybe, you know, interested in doing something perhaps, you know, because I would like to work with iFixit. So yeah.
Huh. Oh, I think am I signed into your account? No. Okay. I enjoy scrolling down the first page of AliExpress and just seeing what junk pops up.
Yeah, that's the thing about AliExpress is,
but
you know,
your list has already been massively coloured by all of these searches that have already happened in it.
My homepage results are reasonably healthy for AliExpress.
Oops.
What on earth? Yeah, you're not where you thought you were.
I forgot you, for some reason, still use Chrome.
Yeah, I just haven't changed it on this computer. Oh, well, I use it for, well, whatever, I'm not getting into that now. Anyway, yeah, and that's the thing to note as well. Like, I mocked Temu, but AliExpress has just as much junk on it. But the difference is that you can get good things on AliExpress as well, you know. AliExpress is one of those things where, I mean, it's, yeah, they sell a lot of absolute, like, what the hell, but...
A TIG welder.
For 45 quid list price, yeah. But at the same time, you can get actually good stuff there, so yeah.
Oh, £172.
Oh, that's not very good.
Oh,
also though, like I bet the prices have spiked since LTT put their video out because everyone's buying their CPUs on AliExpress now.
I can't. Yeah. Oh no, I think you had to search for.
Mike's Unboxing says LTT won't do the 7700 as it's a retail product and AMD is a massive sponsor. 7400F is an OEM, so they can get away with it. Interesting. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
there
still...
we go. 146.
Okay,
List
yeah,
price.
yeah. There we go. Now you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to. Do you want to put
170.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'll do it when I get around to it. Because I was going to say I need to buy a CPU. I need to buy a new keyboard and mouse for the stream PC because we're not continuing with this. This is temporary.
6 months later, we're replacing this keyboard and mouse.
Yeah. I'm going to carry on taking apart this keyboard. This keyboard needs a new USB port, by the way. That's kind of what I'm up to at the moment.
The other thing I need you to do is I need you to get a mini forums link.
Yeah. What as in?
Affiliate sponsor.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I can do that. I have. I think I've got their contact in my email somewhere.
Because I also want to show off this thing that they're selling.
Yeah.
Oh, they've changed the price on it slightly, but friggin' Minis Forum BD795ISE motherboard. Right, but it's not just a motherboard. It's it's the motherboard and a Ryzen 9 7945HX.
Interesting.
So it's a motherboard and a CPU, a 16-core CPU, for a total of £400.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that a cooling solution there as well?
And it's got a heatsink on it. You put a 120mm fan on top and an M.2, and it's kind of
16-core CPU. Yeah. I mean, it's a mobile CPU, but that's still pretty. Yeah, that's still 16 cores.
But it's also a mobile CPU on the desktop board, so you just increase the power limit again, and you're at desktop performance effectively.
Yeah, because I was looking at that in terms of like, okay, so £200 for a motherboard, £200 for a CPU. More like, you can get a motherboard for 160, so 240 for a CPU. It sounds about right to me, but yeah.
But it's just kind of because also the fact of it's small. So it's excellent for, I want a small PC to sit in the corner of my room running my Home Assistant and my Forbidden router and so on and so forth. And it's just like stuff like this. I'm just like, that's cool.
Yeah, agreed.
They were running one of these that was like £199 or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
That. And I was just like, excuse me?
Yeah, that'd be pretty spectacular.
But yeah, that's why I want you to get a link for them, just so every now and then when those products pop up. Yeah.
Right. So just to elaborate on what's going on with this keyboard, a while back I did a video. This is a Logitech K800, and a while back I did a video about changing the USB port on one of these. A new customer, there we go, there's some broken plastic in this because it was already half disassembled. That wasn't me, promise. A customer saw that video recently and was just like, hey, could you do mine as well? And I'm like, sure. I don't make a lot of money doing these, but I said in that video that I like fixing products like these because a lot of people have got a keyboard or a mouse that they like a whole lot, but man, it's worn out. So they sent this one in. This one's slightly different, is that it's got a built-in LiPo instead of the the NiMi AA's in it.
Yeah, this is the...
so it's a slightly newer revision.
Oh, I forgot which model this actually is. But yes, it's the...
Could probably switch to bench cam on this actually.
It's like the pro version or whatever of the one that I've got. And yes, it's a shockingly nice keyboard for... Oh, wrong way.
The way to remember the left and rights on the camera controls is if you go right, it nudges the right side up, is how I remember it. And then when you click left, it nudges the left side up.
It's also just the fact that I was fighting with actually clicking on the button.
Understandable, yes.
Because it pops up and then closes and then pops up and closes because you mouse slightly too far in the wrong direction.
Quentin says, how do you test the battery? Well, so it's a basic dumb single cell LiPo battery. Just 3.7 volt LiPo. It's 1500 milliamp hour. I don't actually have a setup for testing single cell LiPos like that. This is one of the reasons why, I asked Paul Daniels a while back. I said, could you add some more statistics onto the Type-C power meter that counts milliamp hours over time, or milliamps over time, so just milliamp hours, because then I could use the Type-C meter as a poor man's battery tester, just so I could simply run the battery flat and then just measure how many milliamp hours were put into the battery to fully charge it. It would be a very, very rough solution, but it would be a very simple way of doing a poor man's battery tester. And he said that would be very easy to do, but obviously it's bottom priority, so it's not going to happen anytime soon. However, I would like a solution I do need to come up with some kind of simple solution for testing just a single cell dumb LiPo battery. But I don't have such a thing. I mean, it's easy to tell if the battery is knackered or not. You measure the voltage on it, to be honest, and it's just a question of, well, does it work on the battery? How long does the battery last? Why are you holding on? There we go. bits of broken plastic on this thing. That's fine. You can put a multimeter on it. Yeah, I mean, I can check the voltage of the cell, but that just tells us if it's charged or not. That's the only thing that actually tells us, which isn't really a lot. There we go. Okay.
Yes. Quickly flicking back to the
CPUs, yeah.
To the CPU. Yeah, it looks like 7500s you can pick up singles for 112 list price again. And 7700s looks like they're about 146.
Yeah, again, that's list price, so that's going to go up by the time it's in the basket.
It's going to be add 20% to that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm tempted to say it's worth it might be worth me buying one of each. But no, I mean, I think if someone was going to at those prices, I think I would just buy the 7500F again, because I think if someone was like, oh no, I've got more money to spend, then oh yeah, that's the problem. It's such a long way to get up to like a 7800X3D or a 9800X3D. So it might be worth stocking a 7700 after all.
It's still a good saving, because it's.
Si says there should be 145 including VAT. Yeah, I don't think they are. I mean, the list price we're seeing is 146.
Oh, price includes VAT.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it looks like
they've updated their website to finally actually.
Yeah, that's
not
nice.
Be garbage.
Yeah, that's nice. The list price actually includes VAT now. That's fine. Yeah, it's 146 including VAT then. Yeah. That's really nice, because it was very frustrating browsing AliExpress and seeing ex-VAT prices, which makes sense because you're looking at a Chinese store. But it's nice that they've actually updated that so you don't have to think about it.
Oh my God, it won't actually collapse the page properly. So you can't view the cart without maximizing the window.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Because if you do it like that, the cart was staying about here.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah. Includes VAT. Includes VAT, free shipping.
Free shipping. Yeah. Oh, that's really nice. So yeah, it's 146.71 to your door. So yeah, that's very tasty.
And that's still
how
much cheaper?
God, yeah.
100 and
the cheaper
30-ish cheaper.
UK's on UK Part Picker, the cheapest list price is 272. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So yeah, and that's 112 including VAT.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's kind of at that price. You're just like, and AM4 has value how?
Yeah, AM4 is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally...
well, unless...
AM4 only makes sense if you're buying, like, motherboard, CPU, RAM in a bundle off of eBay.
I was going to say,
for
reconditioned.
Like 150 quid or something.
Yeah, but buying refurb for pennies is the only way that AM4 makes sense now. Like, yeah, as I say, 7500F, which is basically a Ryzen 5 7600 without the onboard graphics, £112 to your door.
Yeah,
that's nuts. And because it's an AM5 CPU, as long as you put in a not garbage motherboard, you can say to the customer, yes, this is the lowest CPU available for this platform, but you can drop a 9800 X3D into this anytime you like. That's future-proofing. You know, that's actually future-proof. So yeah. Let's see. Duma said, why did they use such a minuscule battery in this keyboard? Keyboards don't use a lot of power. So although that much being said, this one has a backlight, and the backlight would rinse that battery. With the backlight off, this battery will last ages.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah. It would be nice if they put in something bigger so you could actually use the backlight more.
Yeah, you literally pair that 7500F with the ASRock B650M HDVN.2.
Ooh, £103.
And it's like £104.
Yeah, nice.
And that thing will take a 7950X.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know why you'd buy a motherboard other than this board for 90-something% of computers. Because it's got two M.2s on there. It's got PCI Express, obviously, for your graphics card. The only thing it doesn't have is inbuilt Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and I like built-in Wi-Fi. I like a lot because like I mentioned this in the PC build video that went out this week. Is just customers want Wi-Fi. These be facts.
But it's just a case of, to me, I'd stick in one of the cheap Intel Wi-Fi cards.
Sure, but like that's going to cost you, that's going to be what, 15, 20 quid?
Yeah.
And so 15, 20 quid. So now your quote-unquote motherboard is now like more like 125.
Yeah.
And that's micro ATX. So if you want the computer to look smart, you kind of want to put an ATX motherboard in there. So, another 20 quid. And it's not that far. B650 Gaming Plus for 150 quid there. But if you're shaving off every pound you can, if you're really counting pennies, then yeah, absolutely, that is the cheapest way to build. And like, especially if you're building a computer for yourself and you're like, I don't care about Wi-Fi, then yeah, sure, no brainer.
That's come down a lot in price. Yeah, okay. No, this has come down in price because I looked Thursday.
Yeah, 123.24. That has come down.
I looked Thursday,
I paid like
160
for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I looked Thursday 2 weeks ago, and it was like £60 to go from that MSI, from that ASRock board to the next cheapest board, but with Wi-Fi. So that's why I was kind of like, well, I'd put in one of those Wi-Fi cards for £20, and I'm still £40 better off. But no, it looks like those B650 prices have actually shifted well down.
I'm just going to set up capture because I need to take. I'm going to take this to the other bench, and I'll just microscope
New
it.
Wi-Fi 7 cards only work on Windows 11. Okay. Use Windows 11, the supported Microsoft operating system.
I was going to say, why the hell are you running anything other than 11 on a brand new computer?
Yeah.
And like, and just, don't come at me with this like, oh, Windows 11 bad. It's fine. It's fine. If you're okay, and people talk about telemetry, it's like Windows 10 has all the telemetry in it.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah. It's kind of a non-issue. It really is kind of a non-issue. Oh, we've already got capture over here.
We've got the cam link plugged in.
Yeah.
Is the cam link actually plugged into HDMI?
It should be. There's nothing going out to it yet, though, I don't think.
Cool.
No, actually, there will be, because, it'll just be appearing as a second monitor. Right. Stand by while I just make sure there's nothing open. Cool. Okay, that's fine.
Le capture? Yeah, I can only see the desktop.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
As intended, then. Yeah.
It's fine.
Let's see. Live gamer. Ugh.
I will now do...
Transition noise. Bling, bling, bling. Ooh.
Are you?
It'll come back.
It's just gone black.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that was intentional.
Okay.
When I tell the microscope to record, it outputs at 60 FPS.
Okay. Are you going to swap back to the other microscope?
I don't have plans to at the moment.
Okay. Only because in private, when you first received that, you were like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm going to keep using this."
Yeah. Well, also, I need to actually look at the USB software again because I think I could just have this connected over USB and just get 1080p 60 out of it over the software.
Huh. Oh, okay.
And I've rejected this previously because I'm like, no, just give me HDMI output because I'm set up for that. But I think I could actually just be doing it over USB and just skip the capture altogether.
Okay.
So yeah. Also, that I've had an offer for another scope review from someone, and I might do that.
Yes.
So yeah. So there might be another one in the works as well, and that one made quite a big hay about doing high refresh output directly over HDMI. And so I'm kind of hoping that that one will actually solve the problem that the past 2 microscopes that I've reviewed have had, where they have 1080p 60 FPS capture, but like only when recording to SD card, or just otherwise, or like it has to, or like with the last Anon Star I did, where it couldn't do capture and the built-in screen at the same time, and I'm like, oh, why do you have it then? You know, whatever. Yeah. So yeah. Right. I'm going to put that way around, I think.
Hello, Bob Dave.
There we go. Right, I'm just going to quickly hot air this off the board. Then, actually, I should probably actually find the port that I'm going to use. There's the inside. This is why we're replacing it. Good job, autofocus.
Yes.
Good job, autofocus. Manual.
Oh.
Oh, no. Oh, I pushed auto again. Hold on. I know how to use this microscope. There we go.
Your ports appear, your pins appear to be at the back of your port.
Oh, it don't work. All right, yeah. I've got a love-hate relationship with the autofocus on this microscope. Like, when you push autofocus and it just instantly, like just then when I did the autofocus, it's like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. However, I miss just like, if I just want to suddenly look into the port, I miss just being able to grab the focus ring and just punch in.
Yes.
I would love like a semi-automatic focus where there was an autofocus button, but you could also just manually override. Whereas on this one, it's got touch-sensitive buttons for focus in, focus out, which are just slow and annoying to use. So you just, I always just push the autofocus. Right, let's just zap this off the board. So yes. Anything exciting going on in chat? I see.
Sorry, I read Dave's message. He's just like, looks fine to me. Dave, no.
I should have put this in a clamp. There we go. Did it.
It's almost like you have the equipment.
Well, annoyingly, I took my small clamp home because I'm
pretty sure you have some helping hands and everything.
Yeah, the helping hands aren't very good. Yeah.
And a PCB holder.
I bought that small low-profile PCB holder, but I took it home because I've set up a home electronics lab now, so I can do soldering at home for building slimes and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'll take that one home because I don't use it in the shop. But then I remembered why I bought that low-profile one is it fits under the scope, whereas my big bench vise that I normally use doesn't fit under the scope. And I'm like, that's why I bought the low-profile one. Because it fits under the scope. So yeah. But fine, we'll make it. Right, now I need a replacement USB port. I'm just going to check if I have one spare. I think I might not, so I'm going to rob one from somewhere else.
Where are my ports?
Switch ports. No, these are all Type-C ports. You know when I said I was going to buy like a pack of 100 basic micro USB ports?
Yes.
I didn't.
Oh, I'm going to go do some shopping on your credit card. eBay.
So I'm going to steal one from a D1 Mini that I have here instead.
100.
I mean, I don't need 100. Like a pack of 20 will last me for years.
Would you like a rubber? Would you like a rubber charging dust bung?
Oh, what? Oh, I see.
It's a little thing to protect your micro USB port.
Yeah. Okay.
Micro USB DC charging port, jack, charger, dock, 5-pin connector, female adapter lot.
Hang on a sec. I love micro USB DC charging jack port, dock, 5-pin connector, female output adapter lot. It's my favourite. Right. I'm going to steal the USB port from this D1 Mini that's dead and doesn't work.
Why is it dead?
It's missing some components, so I've stolen components from it. Probably, I think now and then you get dead ones. Like every like 1 in 20 is just a DOA. It's just what happens when you buy cheap electronics. So I keep the dead ones and use them for spares. So because now and then you'll get a dead one because it's just randomly missing a component off the board that the pick and place machine missed or something like that. And so you can use a dead one as parts to fix other ones, if you can be asked. Right, for this one, I'm going to bring my temperature and air down a bit because I want to remove this port without butchering it. So I'm going to do a lot of movement and slowly heat this one. So by going low temperature, low airflow, lots of movement, we can avoid cooking the port. There we go. Tiny PCBs like this have got so little thermal mass that it's not difficult to take the port off safely. Right, I'm going to wick those holes down and then soldering iron this.
Everyone laughs at my wooden blocks with wooden clothespin hot snotted on, but they work at not scratching circuit boards. Yes.
I mean, yeah, if it works, it works. You wouldn't steal a USB port.
Crimes.
This USB
that's
port
what you need.
4 through holes instead of just 2. You might be right. Where's the busted one that I took off? I've lost it already. There it is. No, both of them are all fully through hole. So, hang on a sec.
Ah.
Yeah, this is what I would refer to as the generic micro B port. So yeah, you can see there that they are basically identical.
What happened to the back?
I melted it when removing it.
Okay.
Like, because this one was dead, I just went
okay.
I just went in full temperature, full air. Like, this port is busted, who cares? Just melt the damn thing off the board.
Yes.
No need to be careful with it.
This week on Crime Watch.
Where is my wick? It's there. Solder. There.
Where is my giant spool of solder?
At home now. I took it home, and I've got the little solder here because, yeah.
Because I do soldering for little people.
Indeed.
What is this? A capacitor for ants? Oh, saying that, I was randomly recommended a video from iPad Rehab that was like very, several years old.
Yeah.
But I was just randomly recommended it, and it was just like, oh yeah, fixing a blah 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 on an iPhone 7, and I was just like, oh okay, and it's just I could not comprehend scale at any point in the video, but every time they were just like, oh yeah, and we'll just flip this over and look at all the, look at this side of a circuit board, and I was just like, 1,000 capacitors per inch.
Yeah.
So what the hell is this?
Yeah. Remember when I was doing that motherboard repair? And people are just like, oh, this is surgery kind of thing. I was like, no. This is 0402. This ain't surgery, chief. You look at a phone and we'll talk surgery,
Yeah. Where's my 1 kilogram Arctic MX4? Just a 1 kilogram tube that's like... Graham, the Corsair case is only one with buttons in the bottom. I think what they're referring to is the build video you did.
Yes, that's right.
With the frame 4000.
Yeah, there were loads and loads of comments about the front panel placement on that, because I said, oh, I don't like the front panel being at the bottom. And people were just like, oh, it's because you put it up on a desk. I'm like, so? I'd still rather it just be at the top. It's just my preference.
Yeah.
However, yeah, apparently it's the only one. There were there were other interesting things there. People pointed out that the motherboard tray, I pointed out how the motherboard tray had lots of holes in it and stuff. And people said, oh, that's to support the new style boards that have connectors on the back and stuff. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And I didn't consider that until the comment section pointed it out. And yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting to see cases supporting those motherboards, because it means that those boards are actually viable because there are new cases out there that support them, So yeah.
I feel like we could do 80% of that work as well just by getting rid of the 24 pin.
Possibly, yeah.
It's like the only power cable that actually goes into the case in any meaningful fashion, other than GPU. Actually goes into the motherboard. In there is just that one. Yeah. Yeah. So I seem to have a bad time with the 3000D.
Mine was a 4000D.
Yeah,
Is the 3000D the micro version or something?
Yeah, just because basically all of the bits were missing.
Oh.
Like it didn't have rubber grommets on the cable holes, and it didn't have the little blanking plate for.
Did I just butcher that? No, I'm good.
PSU shroud and just things like that. It was just random bits that were missing.
Yeah, that's a shame.
And it just felt like a nickel and dimed £45 case.
I did
sold for like 70 quid.
Yeah, I did think that the Frame 4000 felt cheaper than the what's the series that the 4000D used to be from? Because the old Corsair 4000D, it's a Corsair something 4000D. They had the Carbide series and
I was not aware of
the
this.
so and so series, blah blah blah. Corsair frame.
Airflow?
I guess.
IQ?
Oh, I think. Yeah, I think they dropped this branding. Obsidian, that's the one. Obsidian is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I think they dropped the Obsidian branding a long time ago. But yeah, the old 4000D Airflow, the 4000D Airflow. So what the frame has replaced felt like a way more premium case to me. Don't get me wrong, I liked the frame, but the frame feels a lot cheaper than the old 4000D. And it's not to the point where I wouldn't buy it, but yeah, as I say, it feels like a cheaper case. It's completely adequate, but it makes the price feel less spectacular. When the price is like 60 to 70 pounds, I'm just like, the 4000D at 60 to 70 pounds was a bargain in my opinion. The frame being at 60 to 70 pounds, I'm like, yeah, honestly, that's what it's worth in my opinion. I should have tinned this. I'm about to make a mess.
I don't know how this is supposedly worth $930.
What are you looking at?
But the Corsair IQ Link 500T case,
Yeah.
the IQ Link LX 120R fans, 3 of them, an IQ Link Titan 360 RX RGB AIO liquid CPU cooler, and an HX1000i for $930.
Yeah, that's the nuts Corsair tax. They're starting to get better, but some of those Corsair AIOs, the prices are just ridiculous.
Yeah, did you see
like
the
Corsair
conversation we had yesterday?
Yeah, they went through a phase where like Corsair's cheapest AIOs were like the cheapest one was £200. I'm like, that's more than twice the price of the best AIO on the market. You can't charge that anymore, Corsair. It's not worth that. NZXT did a pretty good job of trying to push up the cost of the premium ones, but you can't do that because the liquid freezer exists now.
The Corsair IQ Link H170i LCD costs £375.
Yeah, like who the hell is paying that? Well, I'm sure someone is, but that's poor value for money. The LCD is not worth that much. Adding an LCD onto it is worth an extra 30 or 40 quid, in my opinion. And even that is not because I think that's how much it costs to implement, but that's what I think you can charge for that. That's what I would be willing to pay for the pimp value.
It's okay. You could buy the ASUS ROG Ryujin ARGB for £1,060.
Oh my god. What are you getting for that?
A little AIO.
Jesus wept.
Literally just that.
Why? Why does that exist?
But yeah. And it's just like, it's literally just an Acertec 7.
Ugh.
It's literally just an Acertec AIO. And it's like, I don't know why you'd buy this. Have you bridged 2 of the pins?
I did, yeah. I've just fixed it though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right, and just have a look inside just to make sure I haven't flooded the inside with solder.
At least the ASUS Evangelion prices are
You've
because
made
it's
so many people angry.
what's with the what's wrong with the what? Oh my god! What's wrong with the Evangelion naming?
Isn't it like Evangelion or something like that?
Evangelion.
Evangelion.
Yes.
Continue.
At least they're for like cross-branded, related to already incredibly expensive toy product line. Oh, time for qualifying. Where are we qualifying? Where is the F1? I haven't actually paid attention to this.
All right.
It's
I'm coming back.
Bahrain.
Whoop. Let's go back to the bench cam.
Yeah.
And put this back together again now.
Yes. Someone said, what is the best £50 case with Rugaba?
Oh, with RGB.
And my comment is yes.
Yeah.
I will have a ganders and see.
Deepcool had some good options, but Deepcool are dead now, though, aren't they? Did they get comeback or?
Oh yeah.
Because yeah, Deepcool had some really nice stuff around the £50 to £60 mark. However, Deepcool are technically they are by very roundabout means owned by Russian interests, if my memory serves me, by complicated means. Deepcool themselves are not Russian, but like they're owned by a Chinese company that is owned by a Russian company or something like that.
I don't know, and have
yeah,
not
and so
investigated.
Deepcool basically got demolished by the embargoes. So yeah, they are around, just not in the USA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Montech. Yeah, Montech's a good shout.
The Colink Observatory Light Mesh RGB is like £38.
Yeah.
And I remember having a look at it and being like, this is a cheap case, but it won't slice your fingers apart.
I mean, that's going to be a standard issue Chinese stuff.
Like,
yeah.
physically handling it, I was just like, this is a cheap case, but it's not sliced my fingers apart.
Yeah.
It has beaten the minimum viable kind of thing.
Yeah. Montech XR, 50 quid. Yeah. Is any of the Montech stuff available in the UK?
Yes, I have a Montech something X3 RGB. And I think it's massively overpriced.
Ow.
It is at best a £30 case, but they're trying to sell it for 50 to 60.
I hate that when you buy a case that has a reasonable brand name attached to it, but it shows up and you're like, this is no better than the Chinese tat. I may as well have bought the Chinese tat.
Yeah. For example, it just has a Molex millipede in the back of the case to plug the fans in.
Oh yeah, this is what happened with those Antec cases that I've still got all bloody 4 of.
Yeah, but at least those cases were £30.
Yeah, true.
Not 50 to 60.
Yeah, I'd be mad about that.
And
I
didn't
guess,
have so much side panel flex, it was unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Montech 903 Max Air is
the
best value case.
X3 RGB was not good value.
Scan have them. Oh yeah. Your Oh no, yeah. Apparently, scans sell Montech stuff. So
Yeah.
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I did buy recently? I can't remember exactly which one it was, but I bought literally just the cheapest case on Amazon. And it was a CIT something.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is surprisingly good for the cheapest case I could find.
Fair. Yeah.
It had front USB that worked. It had a power button that worked.
Okay.
It had power LEDs that worked.
Wonderful.
It had side panels that fitted and were like actually machined to be the correct shape and size,
Yeah.
which you can't guarantee on some of these cheap cases.
Yeah.
And like
Honestly, yeah.
and when assembled, it looked smart. You know, it was completely just generic office box, but it looked smart.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what?
Passes the wedding test.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I wouldn't feel embarrassed selling a computer in this case as an office PC.
Did it have a side windowed side panel?
No. Which
Yeah,
is
good.
specifically why I bought it.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, yes, the cheapest one I could find that had no side panel.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was kind of office boxy.
Yeah, because like I've said this before, office boxes are surprisingly difficult to build because all the cheap cases are gamer windowed side panel cases, and I'm like, I don't want that on an office box because it feels cringe to sell a middle-aged woman who just wants an office PC a PC that's in a gaming case.
Yeah.
That feels cringe, man.
It
You know.
even came with a 120mm fan that was 3-pin
Fair.
as opposed to Molex.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So I was just like,
Yeah.
you know what? Actually,
Not bad.
yeah. And I think it was £28 or something like that. So I was just like, yeah, that's not bad. But yeah.
Okay, this is going well, I think. I'm just reassembling this now.
Yeah.
Luckily, the customer had already done a lot of, like, the customer had already wrestled off the double-sided tape and stuff like that because they were trying to follow my video. But I think they got lost. They got lost when it came to the soldering part, basically, where they were just like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to desolder that. Although they would have been able to send me just the PCB. There was actually nothing soldered directly to the PCB. But yeah, I doubt it cost them very much to ship the whole keyboard. But yeah.
Yeah. A couple of pounds.
Yeah.
I would imagine. There's still one thing we've got that surprises me. It's just continues to have the really low, like, small parcel rates.
Yeah. Yep. Shipping out of the UK is pretty decent.
Yeah, it's just letters that seem to have randomly shot all the way up.
Huh.
Yeah. Is the Ryzen 9 9950 X3D a good buy to replace the 14900K for gaming and work stuff? I wouldn't really be looking to replace a 14900K unless you
No.
had like issues with it because it had degraded.
Yeah. I mean, unless you like, if you want every single bit of performance you can get, like if you want the 100% performance and you're willing to just drop another what, $600, $700 for a 9950 X3D.
Yeah.
Like the 9950 X3D, it's going to be faster. So if you want maximum speed, if you want the best, then yes, the 9950 X3D is going to be faster.
It depends what
But,
you're
like,
doing as well as work by work.
Yeah, the 14900K is still obviously a flagship CPU. So yeah, folks are saying it's a ticking time bomb. Sure, but like you're probably going to have a job reselling it anyway, so you may as well sit on it until that goes off and then replace it. Right. Will that go in? This screw hole was damaged. Yeah, that'll fit.
14900.
Whoops, that's
Okay.
wrong.
9950X 3D.
Need to make sure the switch is in the correct position.
Oh,
There we go.
well then. That's not a result I expected.
What are we looking at here?
Puget Bench between 9950
Yeah.
and
Do you want
3D.
to screen share while we
14900K.
talk about that?
Yeah. Once I find where OBS has gone. There we go. Capture with face. No.
You want desktop with face?
Desktop with face. There we go. So yes, using Puget Bench just to look at the 14900K and the 9950X3D.
Yeah.
You can get an average score with a 14900K of 9486. But you get a 9950X3D and you go to 11,829.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, massively fast. I mean, it's kind of not surprising. The 9950X3D, it's a newer CPU, and it is the CPU that has everything. It has all of the cores, and it's got all of the cache. It's got it all, you know.
Yeah, but it's also just surprising to me because Intel were still holding very strong in Photoshop.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
for
Photoshop
a
has
long
traditionally.
time.
Yeah, Photoshop has traditionally been the space where Intel is legitimately generally faster. But I think the 9950X3D...
it had been for a while.
Yeah, it seems like the 9950X3D can just brute force that now. It's just that fast.
Yeah, so it's kind of a case of just, wow, okay. Versus a 9950X 3D search. And then Premiere Pro, you are looking at, yeah, again, AMD
Oh
being
yeah,
faster.
quicker in Premiere. That's a big thing because, like, you know, yeah, Premiere. That means just if you're video editing, you want this CPU now. This is the fastest CPU for video ed. This is the fastest consumer CPU for video editing. Full stop. End statement.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, and basically the bell curves are a full deviation away from each other as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's a full.
Yeah, the absolute top end fastest Intels on that chart are just peeking in at the slowest AMD results kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Obviously, there's a couple down here which are just
Anomalies.
broken.
Yeah.
Anything that's getting a score in this part here of this chart is broken.
Yeah. Yeah, that's outside the
But-
standard deviation, so you just ignore that.
But yeah, it's kind of, that's madness though. Just that's has happened.
Yeah. Like
Because
this,
obviously it was the fact that, you know, Intel were
that's it. Yeah,
the
just
go-to for
right now,
all of the Adobe suite.
yeah, Intel are cooked.
Yeah.
AMD are just faster in everything.
Yeah, certainly for desktop CPUs.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. For DaVinci Resolve, it's a toss-up. Depends which one you want to go for.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, that's interesting.
In Resolve, the average score with the 9950X3D is slightly higher.
What the hell is that? The end of the curve on the
But-
AMD there.
Yeah, there is clearly
Yeah.
really dirty data in all of this.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's really odd.
Because this is Puget Bench,
Yeah.
which anyone can run and anyone can submit
Yeah.
data for.
Oh,
You
look.
have all of the dirty
Yeah.
data in there.
Also, AMD, they've
Yeah.
only got 24 results, so yeah,
Yeah.
just that there's not enough data there, is there?
But looking at the average, it looks like it is going to end up being slightly faster, and also probably 100 watts less at peak load.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a case that, you know, you'll probably end up with, you know, ever so slightly less power usage and the same or slightly better performance.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good position to be in ultimately.
Yeah. Quentin asks, what's with video editing and AI? Are you seeing requests for large amount of RAM? I don't actually do a lot of system builds, so yeah, I'm honestly the wrong person to ask for that. I don't do a lot. I'm mostly repairs. but I haven't actually had a lot of people making requests for industry computers like this. To be honest, the closest I get is, I now and then I do get people who are whose PCs are spec'd for digital audio workstations. Yeah, on the whole, I don't actually do a lot of what I would refer to as industry computers.
Yeah. There was, interestingly, I can't remember who I was paying attention to, but I was reviewing content from someone whose job is solely building non-Apple audio stations. I've forgotten the words I'm looking for here. PCs for doing audio mixing, audio processing, editing, all of that sort of malarkey. And they were saying that they were still building and selling predominantly 12th gen systems because the 12th gen systems were not having like lag or stutter on the interfaces and weren't having like filtering issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's funny how it was kind of, just the fact of obviously you look at all of this stuff for one side of the industry and so on.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, knew this, knew that, faster for this, so on and so forth. And then for something else, they were finding that actually it needed to be this.
Yeah. Digital audio workstations in specific are very strange because obviously you're working on an incredibly latency latency-sensitive task, and now and then, like one of my regular customers who brings their computers in for service, he'll come in and be like, "Oh, I'm experiencing this problem at the moment, and I've been looking online, and people are saying, oh, it could be this, it could be that. What are your thoughts?" And I usually say to them, "I'll be honest with you, I don't know because I don't use your software.
Yeah.
I can theorize for you. I can tell you can tell me the theories, and I can tell you whether that sounds plausible to me or whether that's like mumbo jumbo. Like when someone says, "Oh, the lag is being caused because of your RGB," I'm like, "No, it's not." Sorry, I'll rephrase. That was a bad example, actually. No, ignore that. That was.
Yeah. If it's USB controlled, you could see how that could get involved.
Bad
but
example.
You suddenly have to start going down weird as hell rabbit holes, don't you?
There was one recently where someone, now and then people will say.
It's because you don't have copper power cables.
Yeah. Now and then people will say, I think X is causing the problem that I have, and I'm like, no. That's like saying my car won't start because it has the wrong tires on it. Like, no, the tires and wheels you have on your car are nothing to do with whether the engine can start or not. You having a flat tire cannot prevent your engine from starting. Yeah. That is not possible. So no, you are wrong, just objectively. Yeah. So at any rate, I can say whether I think the theory is feasible. But anyway. So then he comes back, like a week later and says, "Oh, by the way, I looked into it. It turns out it was this setting in the BIOS," and he'll list some obscure setting that I've heard of but just never had any interest in. I'm just like, "Oh, cool. How about that?"
Yeah.
And like I'm just like, "All right, this information isn't valuable to me because this is one of those very specific edge cases, but they're the kind of people that run into these really wacky edge cases." And, they're very difficult to help because they're just really hyper-specific edge cases where he's like, you need to turn off a certain thing that changes how the CPU boosts because the CPU hanging for 3 clock cycles while it boosts was enough to put stutter in my my FL Studio with 20 tracks in it, and stuff like that. And obviously, like, they're running Cubase with 100 plugins, 50 of which have hardware dongles in the back of their PC for, and just stuff like this. That's digital audio workstation, and just like, you do what you can to help them, but like, I say to them, I'm like, I do what I can, but like, I'm not getting involved in all your licensing stuff. I don't got time for that, man. I'm sorry.
If you were working in that environment, you'd have to be charging like £200 a repair.
Yeah.
Just to agree to them bringing in the computer.
It. And also like it would have to be something that I have experience in.
Yeah.
That's it. This is why, you know, when people bring in what I've been referring to as industry computers, I often say, you know, look, I'll do what I can, but I don't have experience with the software you're running, so I can't help directly with that. It's the same as when people say, can you help me set up Sage? I'm like, no, call Sage.
Yeah.
A, that's what you're paying them for,
Yeah.
and B, I don't use Sage. I don't know how to configure that. So no,
I think I have accounts.
Yeah. So blah blah blah. Yeah.
That's what my person working out of the Seychelles is for.
Yes. Right. This keyboard is done. I just need to test it.
Do you have an dongle?
Yeah. It turns on and the backlight is fluorescing, so I haven't exploded it. Let me find...
Is it fluorescing?
Yeah, I mean, it's under studio lighting. You will not see it. But it's lighting up. Right. I like the word fluoresce, all right? I mean, if it was using an EL backlight, if it was electroluminescent, it would technically be fluorescing.
Yes.
Man, EL was crap.
Didn't they make tape that was electroluminescent?
Yeah, you could get electroluminescent everything, and it looked amazing. It just wasn't bright enough to be useful.
I thought it was really good for like going around windows and things like that, or like edging.
Yeah, it was typically EL wire.
Yeah.
Where's a micro USB cable that's long enough?
Cold cathodes, those were indeed a thing. They just didn't last overly long.
Yeah, cold cathodes tended to lose brightness over time. Yeah, LED technology is king. Like you can get nostalgic about the kind of color profile you get from old style stuff, but bottom line is LED is king. It is orders of magnitude superior to everything that came before it, and everything else is just rose tinted lenses. I would know, I was there. Just like, man, LED backlights in LCDs was incredible.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like anything else that I'd just be like, oh yeah, that's comparable.
Yeah, well, I've said this before. Like,
there isn't really much
of our generation to, I guess, the Zoomer generation. You know, our generation grew up with incandescent bulbs or fluorescent lamps and NiCad or NiMi batteries.
Yeah.
And LEDs, LiPo batteries mean that just a cheap child's torch has a battery that lasts 100 hours and will light up a street.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was a kid, you had a crappy 2-watt incandescent bulb that could barely light up the desk and 8 AA batteries for breakfast. You know, that's the, whenever talking about technology, that's the thing that just the new generation cannot fathom how has changed. And I guess the boomers before me, you know, they saw electronics as a whole come in, you know. So obviously there's always going to be someone who's older that remembers another thing, but that's my technology revolution, is watching LiPo and LED technology mature.
Yeah.
That has made so much possible. You know, the RC cars that I had as a kid that ran on 4 AA batteries, and like you could buy NiCads for it, but 4 AA NiCad batteries that would last for maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and you couldn't drive across grass because it didn't have enough grunt for that. You had to stay on the pavement with it, and then would take 6 hours to recharge, you know. Whereas now, you know, a cheap RC car with a LiPo battery charges in an hour and will storm across a muddy field. You know, just amazing. I love it.
It was the thing that always confused me, was just how
This is charging.
slow people were to get on LiPos in like hobbyist spaces.
Yeah, people stuck with NiMi for ages.
Because it was a case of, certainly for me, I started dicking around with LiPos in 2005?
Yeah.
Something about there? Where we were, you know, getting them direct from China, 6 months shipping. But yeah, like that, and just the number of people who were just like, oh no, I'll never use a lithium battery for anything. They're dangerous. They just spontaneously catch fire. And I'm like, according to whom? Based on what data?
Yeah.
Spontaneous how?
Yeah.
What you mean spontaneously when you stabbed it with a screwdriver?
That's it.
That's not spontaneous. That's what spontaneous means. Yeah. But yes, Maglites. I remember being a very small child and just being amazed by how bright the like Maglite D-cell torches were. And then, you know, you take one of those and then you can compare it to today, and then you're just like, okay.
This keyboard is not giving input, but I don't know if it's supposed to or not. It is a wireless keyboard, so it might not actually work wired per se. The USB port may be charge only. No, I think it had the electronics to do it. Also, this cable is a data. It is a data cable I've got plugged in.
I have no idea.
Also, though, I'm using a Type-C to micro adapter, and I don't know whether that should. Yeah, no, that should carry data. I'm just going to test this with another cable on another system to confirm. I would just yeah. It technically doesn't matter because, you know, the customer will have the wireless adapter, so you just have that plugged in. But like, also, I'm fairly certain it should work over a cable. But
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So
yeah, like I was just surprised that they could work over the cable.
Yeah, I genuinely don't remember if that's the case or not.
Yeah, it was just a case of I was surprised when that became a thing.
Yeah, no chime. Balls. Oh, I'll check in with the customer on that. I don't think I'm going to bother to take it apart right now. Remind us which keyboard it is. It's a Logitech K800. Because yeah, it's entirely feasible that it doesn't work, that it doesn't do data over its USB line. So yeah. Have you come across the Parts People Dell laptop repair channel as of yet? I have heard of it because people have mentioned them in my comments a couple of times. Don't you have a unifying thing? I do. I don't know, so I could pair it to another receiver. It's going to work wirelessly though. There's no reason for it not to work wirelessly.
And the main thing is it charges.
Yeah, and if I pair it to another receiver, I'll have to explain to the customer how to pair it to their receiver again. You have to download a Logitech software utility to do that. So I don't really want to change the pairing on it. So no, and it's going to work over wireless anyway. So yeah, it's just one of those cases of it. If it had worked over cable, that would have been a nice, cool, this works. But yeah. Was there a receiver in the box? I'll check that actually. I do not see why that. I hope not. Let's just double check though.
Any fibers?
Well, yeah, literally. No, I'll have to check in with the customer. Actually, let me just. Yeah, no, there's no further information on there, just the customer contact details. No, I'm going to assume it's charge only. I'll check in with the customer just in case, but 99% certain they're going to say they have the unifying receiver and they use it wirelessly. So, yeah. Fine. Yes. All right, cool. That's that done. So I was going to have a, I've got a Switch Lite that I was going to do a stick replacement on, or well, both stick replacement because it's got stick drift. However, my replacement sticks have not arrived on time, so I'm not doing that. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to get the secondhand graphics card that was delivered today, and I'm going to clean that up because it's a bit grubby, and I want to give it a clean before I put it into the computer. A Radeon 6700 XT. It's a Founders Edition, oh, not a Founders, it's a reference card as well, which was fun.
Oh, with the actual reference cooler?
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, the Team Rocket one. I've never actually seen one of these in the flesh, and I was like, oh, that's cool. It was, it was like one of the cheapest ones on eBay. But as you can see when you look at it, it's fine, but it's a bit grubby, and the seller has put stickers all over it, and I'm like, thanks, guys. So I just need to sit and de-sticker it. But yes, I think it was it an XT?
6700 XT, yes.
Yeah, good, yeah. Because yeah, I'm scraping together parts for a PC build. I've got a Ryzen 5600 and a B550 motherboard and a power supply, and it wants a graphics card. And I'm like, that seems pretty good bang for buck. I think I paid 250 quid for that.
That's good.
And I had a look on eBay, and running the numbers, I think the 6700 XT is I think this is the best bang for buck for a second-hand graphics card right now. I couldn't find anything.
Probably?
I couldn't find anything that would get close to that. Oh yeah, Mike says he just pitched up a 6750 XT for 220 quid. That's a steal. Yeah.
Yeah, because the 6800 has gone back up again.
Yeah, 6800 is like 300-ish, yeah.
Ooh, that's not terrible.
Yeah, I was going to say, but it looks like the average is more like 350.
It's the non-XT.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, yeah, the others are XTs, yeah.
Yeah, so you're looking at...
Got coil wine, though. Yeah, that's luck of the draw, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, you're looking 350-ish for a 6800 XT.
Yeah. Is that a 6800 XT for 240?
Bids.
Oh, bids, yeah, never mind.
Yeah. 6700 XTs, I'm guessing, are going to be about 250.
Yeah, I mean, if 250 is the average price, then it sounds like I paid the going rate, which I think I did.
240, yeah. Looks like it's 240, 250, that sort of area.
Yeah. I think I paid about 250, something like that. It was probably like 240 something.
Yeah.
I tend to just round up.
Yeah, and then like the 6750 XT.
Oh, actually, I'm logged in. You could check my purchase history just to check, because I'm curious now.
Yeah, 6750s are like...
Yeah, those are like
280.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a 240 one there, but so
bids or best offer.
220 for a 67 XT. That was a steal you got there, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Certainly when the 6800 XTs were down to 300, 310. That was a good couple of months where that was happening. But yeah, everything has nudged back up. How can it have 5 years of warranty? It's a 6750 XT. Its warranty will be running out this year. At best. No. Just to be really depressed, how much is a 3060?
Yeah.
Oh no, 3060 Ti, £210.
Okay, yeah.
3060, £156. Okay.
Yeah. I think the 3060s and the 4060s don't look too shabby, But the problem is that the 6700 will utterly demolish them for another 40 quid kind of thing. And I sort of looked at the price and I was like, you know, like, because
Yeah,
like
but a 3060 for like 150 quid.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Assuming you can repeat that.
For a cheap graphics
Oh,
card.
it's the
sure.
8 gig one. No, that's why.
Yeah.
It's the crap one.
Yeah, yeah. Still, like, if you're building some kid a Fortnite PC, though, you know.
Yeah, but if you're building someone a Fortnite PC, why wouldn't you just build them a 5700 non-XT?
I guess, yeah.
Because, oh, okay, they've gone up a little bit in price, but they were sitting at like £80 or £90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, although I don't know if I'd want to use a 5000 series now. I feel like that's getting too old. 5000 series goes up against the RTX 20 series, doesn't it? Yeah. No, I think it's getting too old now. Like, they're still workable graphics cards, I guess, but you kind of want to sell something that is within the most recent 3 generations is where you want to be. Oh no, the most 2 generations, because we're still on the 7000 series, aren't we? Are we still on the Radeon 7000 series?
9,000.
Oh yeah, but the 9070 had literally just dropped. I guess that's the start of the 9000 series. Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'll call it. You want to be within the past 2.5 generations. So like the last 2 generations, unless the latest one has literally just dropped. You know.
Yeah, looks like 3090s have gone back up in price, which surprises me. Because there was a small period of time when they were actually really good value, because you could get 3090s for like 500, 550.
Yeah.
And I was just like, whilst yes, it's old, it's also a case of a 3090 actually has enough VRAM.
Yeah, it's even though its compute is nothing particularly special anymore, the fact that it has 24 gigs of VRAM means that it's aging very nicely, kind of thing.
Yeah, it was also just a case of like, you know, you're going for an old one.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter so much because it's also a 90 kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know...
And also, like, the power consumption on it isn't too horrendous either. It's like, what, 350 watts, 400 watts? Which, you know, for when you're talking about flagship CPUs, isn't awful. Because that's one of the other problems of buying old flagships is you say sort of like, oh, it can keep up with a modern 70 class or something. It's like, yeah, but the modern 70 class is using half the power, you know.
Yeah.
Right. Just to explain what I'm doing, I'm just literally just using a microfiber cloth and glass cleaner just to wipe this thing down first of all. And I'm just seeing how well it actually just cleans up with just a little bit of TLC. I have considered whether I'm going to take the cooler off of it today. I don't know if I should or not. That might be a case of just yeah, I don't know if I need to, but the only way to find out might be just to fire it up and just see what temperatures it's going to.
I would.
Yeah.
I would see what the
Yeah, I guess I could grab all of the stuff that I currently have and just bench test it just to check that it all works before I actually build it into a PC. I don't have a CPU cooler either, which I've just remembered. I need to buy some more thermal rights. Well, that much being said, I could probably use I've got a baby CPU cooler, and it's only a 5600. And the 5600 non-X, that's what, 65 watt TDP or something like that?
It'd be fine.
Yeah, so it's probably pushing maybe 70 watts real world heat. So yeah, I can just use one of the little dinky air coolers. Yeah, I feel like this PC is going to be a bit of a glass cannon with a 5600 and with a Ryzen 5600 and a Radeon 6700. But on the other hand, like certainly when you're in the mid-range, you kind of want to pile into the GPU anyway. CPU doesn't really become relevant until you get up to the top end, I think is a reasonable a reasonable statement to make.
It depends on what CPU you've got.
Yeah, true. Unless you're buying, unless you have a potato, yeah.
Because basically, as long as whatever CPU you've got can do 60 FPS in, modern demanding games,
yeah,
you're at least going to hit kind of minimum viable.
Yeah, assuming you're running a modern CPU, you're almost certainly going to be GPU bound in the vast majority of instances. Although, of course, if you're running esports, then yeah, different use case. But then, if you're running esports, you're CPU bound at 500 FPS. In which case, who cares? You know. This fan is very awkward to dust. I don't know if I'm going to bother. Trying just to make good, but I think I'd have to like properly detail clean this if I wanted it to be sparkling, and I don't think that's worth it. Right, let's just wipe down the back a little bit, and then I think I'm just going to grab the motherboard and kit, and we'll just fire this up and just see if it actually works. Am I going to take off that warranty sticker? It's a bit dorky.
Or the random China
special.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll wait and see if it works. I might. It's got a little warranty sticker over one of the 4 back things, and that's going to look really tacky in the build. But I'll see if it works. I'll remove that sticker, but I'll leave that on until I've actually tested that the thing works. You know, this is one of those, the back panel is a little bit tarnished, where this has just obviously been in a humid environment or been stored somewhere. Every time I see a graphics card where they've got like 305 stainless steel on the back, on the PCI plate, I'm like, why though? But this is kind of why, to be honest. Those stainless steel ones are going to look pristine even when the graphics card is getting on. So yeah, void it, do it. I'm going to see if it works first, and then I'll void it. Right. Okay, I'm going to grab the other bits and pieces.
I did like this design of reference cooler.
Yeah, I thought it looked cool. It came in the original box as well, and when I sort of took the box out of the package and opened the box, I was like, this is really nicely presented. This looks funky. Now I think about it, I don't even know if this CPU works, so this whole platform needs testing.
A CPU that has a random Chinese
stamp
on it.
It's an AliExpress 5600. I can't remember how much I paid for it.
Hopefully about £50.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
Basically just trying to get rid of this B550 motherboard, because I got caught out, because yeah, I just as I was trying to get rid of the last of my AM4 stuff, and I scored this. Eagle-eyed folks might remember when we had this motherboard, this B550, and a 5800X CPU that wouldn't work together but worked separately. If you remember, this is that motherboard, because I bought the motherboard and CPU off the customer for £100.
Yeah.
And I tried to swap it around with another AM4 system I had. I was like, if I swap the CPUs between these 2 motherboards over, I'll have 2 working systems. Unfortunately, another CPU that I had also didn't work in this motherboard. However, low-end CPUs do seem to work, so it must be like a lane issue or something like that. Who knows? But theoretically, a 5600G boots in this motherboard, so a 5600 vanilla should work.
In theory.
Yeah, I'm going to be I will be very sad if this board doesn't post. But at any rate, yeah. So I've got together the last bits to build a nice little gaming PC with this. So yeah, I can sell off the last of my AM4 stuff, and I think once this is gone, I think I'm done with AM4. unless someone is giving me AM4 hardware for free, I do not see myself buying any more AM4 stuff now.
Yeah.
Like, if I got it for free, then sure, I'll do something with it, but I'm not paying for it.
The only things that I considered that would be worthwhile doing is keeping an eye out for mega deals on
Yeah, I guess like 5800
B550.
X3D.
Well, on B550 or, on like X470, B550
Yeah.
boards. Just to, if you got one of those for like 20 quid or something off of eBay,
Yeah.
just to keep on the shelf if someone comes in with a AM4 gaming PC that you can then fix for like 40 quid.
Yeah,
Just
sure. And
because
I've
there
still
will be
got my
loads of them out there because of how long AM4's lasted.
Yeah, I've still got my my B450 testing motherboard as well.
Yeah, and it's always the motherboards that die.
Yeah, I actually replaced this. I replaced the B450 test board I've got with the broken USB port. I replaced the USB port stack on it.
Oh yeah.
And I was going to make a video about it. However, I replaced the stack, and it works at USB 2, but not at USB 3.
Huh.
So I think there's an issue with the controller there as well, because the USB 2 lines I think they go to a different controller or chip than the USB 3 lines. Not 100% certain. But I got that far in the video and it wouldn't work at USB 3 speeds. I was like, I don't know where to go from here. So that video is just sitting on the YouTube rig at the moment, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
It's okay. Dave Bob will tell you.
Maybe, yeah. I should actually just talk to Dave Bob and be like, what do you think might be wrong with this? Is this approachable, or is it a controller issue? And then I can just and if there's an easy fix, I might finish the job. Otherwise, I might just do voiceover and be like, yeah, it only works at USB 2, but whatever. This is how you would replace a stack, hypothetically. It is what it is. So, yeah. How will you spec this build? I'll spec it as a B550A Pro with a Ryzen 5 5600 and a 6700 XT. So, yes. USB thing was such a rabbit. Yeah, that's kind of why I got that far and I was just like, stop recording. I started tracing some of the wires just to see if there was any exploded components and stuff like that, but it's just like, yeah.
There's a really dumb point when
What's that box? The box is a B550A Pro. It's what we've got on the bench. Sorry.
Were the USB 3 pins actually connected?
They were connected down to the board, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I traced them up to the next component thing that they went into.
And they were connected?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They had continuity to
Yeah.
whatever the next thing they went to on the board was. But I didn't know how to trace any further from there, basically. I was like, yeah, because the problem is like, theoretically, the next stop after that is the PCH.
Yeah.
So, like, if there's continuity to whatever hub they connect to on the board, unless there's a fault with that hub, next stop is the PCH, and you're not replacing the PCH. So, yeah. So, yeah, don't know. Right. Sod it, I'm daisy chaining this. It's fine.
Especially given the other cable is a CPU cable.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I also finally got enough cables for this RM650X as well, which is one of my old power supplies, so can actually sell that. Right. Cool. Test cooler on there, and we'll find out if it works after I've been to the bathroom.
Okay.
So I will be right back. Did I check for shorted TVS diodes? I can't remember. I think I checked for... I think I did check if something was shorted to ground, but it was like... I think it was 2 weeks ago I was doing this now. So, yeah.
Where is the Freezer 7?
Along the bench somewhere. I'll find it in a moment. I'll be right back.
Well, I was just going to have a ganders.
Oh, it's there.
Do 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 do. right is CPU. Whoop. An HDMI. Ah. Oh, we can plug you in. We can't plug you in. Never mind. There is no capture. There is no display capture. Right. Is there an Intel lanyard? I agree.
It was on the wall. Absolute rube.
Oh, okay.
Is this a £500 bill? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to charge for it yet. I need to. Well, we can discuss that in a moment. Actually, I guess. How much do I charge for this? Because
$1 million.
Yeah, I need to actually go through and figure out how much I've paid for the components that I've paid money for. Because some of the components I've paid money for, some of them I've just got kicking around. So I need to account for. That's the thing. Is some of the components you can say, okay, well I paid this amount for this, so it's that. And then some of the components I just had kicking around. So I need to actually check what the theoretical value of those is. Let's see, I've probably got an SSD screw here. That looks like an SSD screw.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that was an SSD screw and now it's a floor screw.
Never to be seen again.
It's fine, I saw where it landed. Oh, but I took my eye off it and now it's disappeared. If you drop a screw, you watch where it lands and you never ever take your eye off it. There it is. I got it. I'm never letting go. Ignore me. Right. Right. We're into the monitor. Yeah. Okay. Bang. Okay, it didn't explode. Good start. Good start.
Excellent.
Whew. Do we have any diagnostic LEDs on this? Yes, we do. Oh no. It's stuck on CPU. Oh. I don't believe it. We have a spare motherboard so we can check if it's the CPU or the motherboard, but if this motherboard won't work with this CPU either, I will actually be incredibly sad. Like, I deliberately down-spec'd to a 5600 because I was like, it worked with a 5600G. Surely it will boot a 5600. I know this motherboard is a bit funky, but come on, you know. Ah! Oh, God damn it. 5800X. Oh, that's the last 5800X I've got to get rid of somewhere as well. It's not going to boot that.
And then there's a 5700G.
5700G. Oh, yeah. It booted a 5700G. I'm fairly certain it will boot this CPU. But this CPU is the one that dies if it tries to idle.
It's fine. It's fine. You change your setting in the BIOS and then you sell it.
I can't sell it.
You change your setting in the BIOS and
I
then you
can't sell it.
And then if it comes back in a few years' time with an issue, you go, oh, I'm terribly sorry, your CPU appears to have died. You need a new CPU.
No.
Yes.
No. Bad Caradog. No.
It's called Repeat Custom.
Terrible. Terrible. Right, let's lob this one in here. And this one should post. And then we need to test this CPU in another motherboard to make sure that CPU works. Oh. And I'm about to discover that I bought another AM4 CPU and now I need to find more AM4 motherboards. CPU. You know, I probably should have done a BIOS reset on this before changing the CPU, but oh no, it's going to post. The diagnostic LEDs just went out. Okay. What is with this motherboard?
It's broken. That's what's with
I
it.
know, but it's such a bizarre fault. VGA. Boot. Yeah, there we go. Fine. Okay, that's gone into BIOS. Okay, yeah, I tell you what, yeah, do you just want to...
Where? No.
Yeah, do you just want to lock off the CPU clock? Oh, unless we've got some bizarre CPU settings in here.
No, it's
okay,
all
it's
default.
stock. Yeah, fine.
Was...
Yeah. Oh, well, do you want to? Yeah, if you lock the CPU clock to something high, and then we can actually just boot it into Windows and see if the GPU works, because like if there's issues with the CPU motherboard combo that we're running, I don't want to look. I don't want to try and solve the CPU fault right now. I want to know whether the graphics card works, because if the graphics card doesn't work, I'm sending that back.
Yeah, I was just going to say if that would make that CPU boot in a minute.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Because that's functionally the only difference between those two CPUs at a low level. It's just the gen of PCI Express.
Yeah, okay. Right. While you're tinkering with that, I'm going to set up capture.
Yes. We do not have a USB-C on the back of the PC.
I will gain this by hot plugging front panel connectors.
Excellent. Da, 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 da.
Thank you. Is that lit up?
It has not. It has not. Nope.
I have a suspicion this thing doesn't work. Okay, that's fine.
I have a suspicion that this SSD is not SSD.
I will get a C2A adapter, and then we will have capture.
Your CPU doesn't work because I just mashed it with the graphics card.
Where is my C2A adapter? I've got one.
What happened to the captured? What happened to the captures A to C cable? There's an A to C cable specifically for the capture.
Yeah, you're right. I was going to say
The A
I've
to
got
C cable that should never have been moved.
I don't know what happened. Not my fault.
Fucking come here.
This is the point where I walk over there and be like, oh, it's actually still over here. I'm just going to double check that. Hang on a sec. Done. Oh, hang on a sec. Is that you? No. However, I have found my A to C adapter, so that will do.
Excellent.
Right, let's get rid of that.
In you go.
No, that's still not turning on. Oh, no, there it goes. It's fine. It's fine, it's fine.
There is no cause for concern.
Where is the long HDMI? I had it. It existed. I saw it. There it is. I was going to say I saw it today. Right.
Pro series.
Okay, right, that's in.
Hold on. We're now booting Windows. That's
Okay,
fine.
cool.
I just wanted to make sure that it
Yeah.
was actually capable of booting, because it struggled the past couple of times.
Yeah. All right.
We should, in a moment, get a desktop. There you go, desktop.
Capture achieved.
Ta-da! There we go. Oh.
Oh, this isn't the Ghost Spectre drive. So it doesn't have any test software on it.
I see.
Ah, okay,
Oh,
hang on a
that's
sec.
been
I've
changed.
got my. Yeah, it's fine. I've got my drive here. Has this motherboard got Type C on it? Yes, good. Yoink. Toolkit.
The capture is not capturing.
Ah.
There is no capture on the capture.
Huh. Let's just make sure I put. Oh, the pass-through is working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I presume it's the data issue again out of the XR1.
Yeah. We've got a 20 gigabit cable plugged in. Okay, right. I've just flipped the connector. Let's try it again. Thought I smelt magic smoke.
It's only a magic smoke if it comes from Magic Mike. Otherwise, it's simply sparkling failure.
Thinking. Ugh, thinking. I'm going to quickly run it into. I'm just going to run it into the cam link first. Oh yeah. I was confused. I didn't understand why there was because like this isn't plugged into that computer, but it was that computer. Anyway, I'll just quickly plumb it into the cam link just so we can see if the graphics card is actually, well, it is spitting out an image. So yeah. God damn it. I'll try a different USB cable first. Because we know that the XR1 gets picky about USB cables.
Yeah.
Right, here is a 40 gigabit cable. Yeah, I don't know what's happened to the A to C cable that we bought for this that we know confirmed was working. I've obviously must have unplugged it at some point for some reason, but I don't know where it's gone.
Yay!
Right. Now,
Also, if we had a pass-through.
is it giving us output? Oh, that looks more promising. It's changed shape.
Oops.
Oh, that's the cam link, that's why.
Be gone. No one cares, Camlink. Go away.
Then deactivate, reactivate. Balls. No, the Overmedia isn't going to work because it's an AMD graphics card. Fine, we'll go into the cam link and we'll just have to do a dirty preview.
Okay.
Yeah. Vexing. I'm annoyed not because the problem isn't solvable, but because it should work. And I'm just like, oh, come on, we've solved this. Grr. All right, see if the cam link has got something on it now. Yeah, there we go. Oh.
There you go.
Oh, the XR1 is in front of it, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Anything, make the XR1 not visible. Like, if it's not got a picture on it.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, because that solves that problem from happening. Cool, all right.
There we go. Pow.
Groovy. All right. Cool. Can you give us a... hang on a sec. I'm just going to... Window projector. Gives us something that's a lot bigger. There we go. All right. Cool. Right. Superposition. I love it. We're not going to have GPU drivers anyway, are we? Which probably is why it didn't work just then.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Device manager. I don't suppose you've got your basic display adapter. I'm just gonna get the other SSD. By the time we've installed graphics drivers and stuff like that, we could have just booted the Ghost Spectre drive that already has all of this installed on it. So I will retrieve that when I found it. There it is. Wow. There we go. All right. Is a 3000 CPU available? No. I do not have any 3000 CPUs, but also that doesn't help. I don't want it to work with a 3000 CPU. I want it to work with a 5600. So, like a 3000 CPU wouldn't tell us anything. So yeah. Black screen. Yeah, that's because the computer's turned off. Okay. Nice. I'll just go ahead and reinitialize the capture there. There we go. Cool. Right. Let's superposition that bad boy, or rather, let's check if we've got graphics drivers and then superposition it, I guess. Balls. Yes. I don't suppose you've got your yeah, no. Oh, I thought we had all the drivers installed. Oh no, it's your Ghost Spectre drive that has the AMD drivers on it already, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lack of res was a giveaway. No, it's full resolution. It's just on scaling. I don't care.
What are you doing?
I'm going to drivers.
Okay. But that's the page you're on.
Oh, I see, yeah. Oh,
you just scroll down.
Wasn't looking. Oh, that's the automatic one. Yeah,
just
okay.
Scroll down.
Is it? Okay. Okay.
What?
What are you talking about?
Just select the driver you want.
Oh, you were saying to scroll down further?
Okay.
What did you mean to this bit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Fine. All right. What is this, an RX?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish they wouldn't. I wish, because like NVIDIA have kind of given up doing the select your graphics card thing, and they just have the game ready driver available at the top. I wish AMD would do the same, because it's like it doesn't matter. You get the same driver one way or the other, unless you have like a legacy card.
Yeah. It's the same driver for all the VRDNA cards.
Is Ghost Spectre better than LTSC? They're two different kinds of build. Ghost Spectre is just a. Ghost Spectre is a. How would you describe it? It's not a lightweight.
It's
Windows
basically
install.
a benching OS.
Yeah, Ghost Spectre is a benching version of Windows where it's set up not to be lightweight or debloated. It's set up for consistency. So the idea is that a lot of background apps are switched off. They might be installed, but they're switched off. So the idea is that you get incredibly consistent benchmark run-to-run variants on it, because there's it's switched off anything that might just suddenly try and spike the CPU in the background. So your run-to-run variants are nice and consistent.
It's also built to try and have a low install and memory footprint.
Yeah.
Basically, because a whole bunch of it is
kind
of not installed, but is packaged up to be easily installed if you actually need that feature.
Yes. So I guess you could say it's a debloat install to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But it's debloating was not the objective of it. Benchmarking consistency is. But yeah, whereas LTSC, that's long-term support, which is designed for maximum longevity before you have to upgrade. LTSC is for people where you do not want to do build update. LTSC is for people who don't want updates, like version updates. You'll get security updates and stuff like that, but there will be no feature upgrades to it. So you will not get any new features on LTSC because it's designed for a system that needs to be that needs to stay the same long term. So so you don't want to be on LTSC, and if you want any new features, you will not get any new features to Windows there. But I guess for some people that's a bonus, because Microsoft haven't been doing very good on the new features front recently, because most of the new features are Copilot and more Copilot and Microsoft 365 Copilot. So yeah, whatever. God. Yeah, I've got a love-hate relationship. Like, I keep wanting to do a video where I talk about Windows 11 as a whole, because like when it was on the way, and then when it was released, and over time, you know, we've had many a discussion about why Windows 11 is the way it is, and you know why its system requirements are the way it is, and how that was a success and a failure, and stuff like that. I have so much to talk about explaining how I believe in what they tried to do, but how I also believe they failed to achieve that goal because they pussied out at the last minute and things like that.
Yeah.
And we've ended up in the worst of all worlds, where they have high system requirements that also fail to cut off the bottom end, which is what they should have done, and things like that. But there's so much to talk about, but also there's so many ways in which I understand why Microsoft do the things they do, but also so many ways where they just shove features down everyone's throats that they don't want, which make the well of discussion so poisoned. Because like, I want to say to people, shut up, Windows updates are good, install your updates. But then Microsoft shove another version of Copilot onto my PC, no matter how many times I say, I don't care about Copilot. You know, it's so difficult to have this discussion. You know, it's such a mess.
Yeah.
I want to talk about it, but you can't just talk about it because there's so many things that they get right, but then don't get right. It's such a mess. I just don't know where to start. I think there's a really interesting conversation to be had about explaining Windows 11 and the state of Windows, but there's so much to cover, and if you don't cover all of it, you can't talk about it at all. It's wild. And live BIOS updates. BIOS updates are good because they fix security vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
But also your laptop will try and do a BIOS update on battery power, which is an awful idea, you know. Just uninstall Copilot. Yeah, and then they'll install Microsoft 365 Copilot instead. Or, you know, you can uninstall Copilot while you're on Windows 10, and then when you do the Windows 11 update, it will install Copilot again. It's just, oh!
Yeah.
It's wild. They're also bringing back Windows Recall. In what way? Because, like, Recall never truly died, but also it only works under very certain circumstances. So, again, there's a lot of asterisks attached to that. Have we locked up? Can you just move the mouse? Because I've just noticed our preview looks extremely strange.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. We're done.
Yeah.
Yep. Boop. Cool. Right. So we'll throw Superposition at that now, hopefully. And if it gets through Superposition, then I'll be like, cool, that's good enough as a that's a good enough confidence test of the GPU. Also, I'm curious as to what it will actually give. So. Oh, you just giving it a reboot first? That makes sense.
Restart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I generally do after installing drivers.
Yeah, I think that's true for AMD as well. That was one of the few things I noticed when I did my my AMD challenge with your 7900 XTX. Is, I mean, well, that could have just been my Windows install, but I found after installing the AMD drivers, it needed like a couple of reboots before everything was settled. But also that's probably just because I was on a very old Windows 10 install that had like a dozen different GPU drivers installed. So I think that wasn't a super fair test.
Yeah, I was going to say I generally just reboot after doing the GPU drivers anyway.
Yeah.
Just because obviously you don't actually know really which driver it's running on in that instance. Because obviously I don't want it trying to run a game effectively on the basic display adapter, but obviously the device appears correctly because there is a driver there. So obviously if you just restart it, it's going to actually pick that driver and do a handoff correctly. Yeah.
LTSC is the opposite of hassle until you want to upgrade Windows. Because what's going to happen is, let's say, like, what build is LTSC on at the moment? Does anyone know?
For 10, it should be 22H2.
Oh, for 10, yeah, but yeah, 10 is dead, so who cares?
Well,
well, I suppose that's the point of LTSC, I guess, is for people who do not want to upgrade to 11.
Well, it's also because it's long-term support for like embedded devices.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Exactly. You know, but
can you disable and re-enable the capture?
Yeah, sure thing. Whoop. But 11 LTSC.
I have no idea.
No! Let's pretend that Windows 11 LTSC is on like 22H2 or something like that. Like if you say, actually I would like to upgrade to 24H2 because it's got new updates and new features on it that I want, you can't upgrade. You've got to do a clean install. Because, don't quote me on this, but usually LTSC versions and stuff like that, you won't be able to upgrade unless they come out with another LTSC version. And even then,
you usually can do upgrade from LTSC to LTSC.
Yeah. So if a new LTSC version comes out, you might be able to do an inline version. But yeah, even then, you're going going to be a long way between upgrades there. Access denied when repairing in boot. Yeah, you're not repairing it properly. The commands for repairing Windows installations, you have to do everything in a certain order. I don't know it off the top of my head. I don't bother doing this anymore. What I do is I just restore a new system partition. Oh yeah, sorry. Camlink wasn't muted. All right. Where were we? Yeah, sorry, folks. We didn't see that the Camlink was unmuted. Right, where were we? I've completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, yeah, Windows boot. I don't bother trying to repair. I just restore working boot partitions that I have backed up, because you can do all of the commands to repair the Windows boot manager and stuff like that, or you can just restore a working boot partition that you already have, and I find that's a lot more consistent. So yeah. Right, can I zoom, if I maximize that a sec? Oh, it's so tiny in the corner I can't see what the temperature is. And I've just made it smaller again. Oh. I think our desktop resolution is at 4K.
Probably.
Yeah. Which actual benchmark are we running?
1080p extreme.
Yeah. Or use your tool that's one click and it creates everything. What is your tool, Si?
It's a reasonably long benchmark. I've forgotten that.
Yeah, Superposition is. Yeah. It's got. It has scenes, and I think this is. I think there's like 11 scenes that it cycles through, or something like that.
Yeah.
The one you get. Yeah, but that does. What's the name of it, Si? You know, if we're going to tell you that this tool is better, give the name of it. There we go. Yeah, ASUS Partition Manager Master, ASUS Partition Master Technician can auto fix this stuff. 68,010. Cool. I think that's probably about right, I would say. So yeah, and yeah, is our desk? Oh, it doesn't matter actually. Oh, we didn't have a temperature on the GPU apparently. Okay. Well, the card wasn't screaming.
No, and the fans turned off basically instantly.
Yeah, so I'm going to, yeah, I'm not going to bother repasting a card unless unless the temperatures are broken on it. I'm sure that if we repasted this card, the temperatures would go down slightly, but it's a lot of hassle, so I'm not going to do it unless I actually have reason to do it, and I don't think we have a reason to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Cool. All right. So, in that case, I'm going to try my 5600 in my test motherboard just to find out if that CPU actually works first, and then we can, I guess we could try, changing the PCI Express support. Whoop. Face cam with bench cam with face.
Face bench with.
I've got to move that across. I'll just stay on face cam.
Face bench with cam.
Yeah.
Cam bench with face.
LTSC is aimed at a business, not home use. Yeah, I mean you can use it for home use, but this is what I'm saying is there are drawbacks to LTSC that a lot of people don't think about until they run into them. But at the same time, a lot of them are fairly acceptable. Like I say, it's like you can't do a build update unless it's to another LTSC version. this isn't a problem unless there's just a feature that you're missing. And realistically, that's probably not an issue that you're going to run into. But yeah, again, this is why this conversation is so hard to have. When people say, oh, like, if you're a home user, if you're an enthusiast and you want to run long-term support because it doesn't bother you, sure, go for that. But like, I can't install LTSC on customer computers. That's just a terrible idea, because they won't get updates in the same way. So it's case dependent. And again, this is what I was saying, how like the well of discussion is so poisoned, because you should want to run the latest version of Windows. That is theoretically the ideal situation. But also, because Microsoft nonsense like Copilot and stuff like that, I understand the reasons why people don't want to run the latest version. So this is what I mean by the poisoned well of discussion. It's so difficult to talk about this because it's a mess. So, So yes. Okay. Right. If this 5600 doesn't work in that board but does work in that board, I think I'm going to end up just selling that test board with the 5600 in it. But now I've got to find a CPU. I mean, see, the problem is now I'm coming back to the thought where I'm just like, okay, well, now I'm like, would a 3000 series CPU work in this board?
No idea, and who cares?
Yeah, I think if the 5600 is just broken in this motherboard, I think I'm just going to have to cut my losses with that board.
Well, you just write off the board that you got for free.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got it with, yeah, that's true, because I got it with the 5800X3D for 100 quid, and the CPU was worth 100 quid alone. So, yeah.
So you just write off the motherboard as dead, because the motherboard is dead.
Yeah, and I haven't lost out much because the CPU was worth that much anyway.
Well, you haven't lost out at all, because you bought a CPU for less than its market value.
Yeah.
And it came with a dead motherboard.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it would just be slightly annoying, because
It's a dead motherboard.
Yeah, I know.
It's functionally dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't boot a CPU you want to use with it.
Yeah.
It doesn't boot any CPU you want to use with it.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's functionally dead. It's worthless. It's e-waste. It's scrap.
Yeah.
You throw it away.
Yeah.
Oh, did I not actually turn the power supply back?
It also helps if you plug in the 24 pin.
Oh, have I not?
You'll need that one.
Oops.
In the bin, yeah. But it kind of works. It works when I put my 5700. Well, it works when I put my 5700G in.
Damn it.
And lock off the clock speed so it doesn't crash.
Damn it.
It's not even good as a test motherboard. Oh.
No.
Yeah.
It's rubbish. It's scrap. It's waste. You throw it away.
Yeah. Another display board to add to the collection.
No, it's rubbish. It's scrap. You throw it away.
But
it doesn't work.
But it will look pretty. I can have it as a display.
Or you could throw it away and not have yet
I'm
more
going to throw
junk.
you away in a minute.
You could get rid of some junk from your shop for once.
Oh.
I will continue hurting your feelings until you agree.
I will click on capture with face and reactivate the cam link to see if it's working. We have post, yes. New CPU installed, 5600. Yeah, all right.
The motherboard is faulty, is trash, is broken.
God damn it.
You throw it away.
Yeah, all right. Oh, I guess I need another motherboard then, because I don't really want to sell this motherboard, because 2 of the USB 3 ports are actually only USB 2 ports. and if you plug a USB 3 device into it, it just doesn't detect it. So like, you have it like.
So desolder that and replace it with a USB 2 stack.
I guess I could.
Steal the USB 2 stack off of here.
Yeah, will it fit? No, the pinout is different. It won't fit.
Make it fit.
No, the pins are in a different alignment.
Make it fit.
Yeah, no, I'm going to keep that as the test board. Better the devil you know. So I need to buy another AM4 board then, basically.
Find one on eBay for £15.
Yeah, all right. Let's find it. Let's find a.
And tell the seller that your arthritic 8-year-old child's mother's birthday was going to be ruined unless you get this motherboard off of them for 17p.
No, bad.
What's bad about that?
Right. I want a B550 motherboard.
And you want to go sort by price lowest.
Yeah, lowest price P&P. Buy it now. Parts only, 60 quid. Untested. Why would you do that? It's another B550.
Oh, look, it's another MSI board that's faulty.
All right, let's see. What are these? Oh, they're like weird OEM things. What the hell are these prices? £73. What's a new one cost? B550. Like, I could probably get like a Gigabyte B550 DS3H or something like that for 60 quid. Why are these motherboards holding their value? Ugh. Hang on a sec. Let's. Oh, there was the DS3H. Just so. Oh, B550MK. Okay, that's basically a DS3H in disguise, I think. Oh, there's the DS3H. All right, fine. Yeah. Either way, it's still 85 quid. Like, AM4 got expensive. Supply and demand. Yeah. This is the problem with. This is the thing. When we rag on AM4. And we're like, oh, why are you building AM4? Build AM5. This is why. Because, like, why the hell are they this expensive, man? That's terrible. I do not want to pay £70 for an AM4 motherboard. I want to pay, like, 50 quid. We could use a B450. Like, that's a bit how you're doing, but it would work. There's decent B450 motherboards. Parts only, pre-owned.
Yeah, but it's a
BioStar. No, all right. I hadn't read BioStar yet.
I haven't read the first word.
Shut. I was looking at prices.
There we go.
Oh, parts only.
With a broken M.2 slot.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a pity. Let's have a look at that a sec, just out of interest. Have they got a close-up of it?
Here's my suspiciously out of focus photo supposedly showing the damage.
Yeah. The problem is just like I'm kind of just like NVMe slot is okay, but M2 slot is damaged. I assume the rest of it works. I'm kind of curious about that because I'm just like, it's probably not that hard to change an M.2 slot. A520, I don't really want to drop below a B series chipset. But yeah, read description. Okay, that means there's something wrong with it, but I hate people who do this, read description. Missing heatsink. Oh, okay. Oh, that's no big deal. Fully tested, working great, comes in photos. Board only, no I/O shield. That's a bummer, but not the end of the world. It's a pretty low-end motherboard, though. It would work.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Yeah, what else have we got? 45.
I can offer you a B450M Tomahawk. It's fine other than occasionally it eats a CPU.
B450A Pro Max. Hey, look, it's the previous... Man, B550 was a revolution. Look, here's the old version of the board that we've got in front of us. It's amazing. This is why B550 was such a good chipset. Because at that point, like, everyone knew that AM4 was a decent platform and they were actually making an effort with all the motherboards. £50. 50 quid. That's fine. Like, I've got millions of hold down plates for that. B458 Pro. I'd probably take this one in preference because it's like £2 more. So I'm kind of tempted with that board though. I'm kind of tempted to try and replace an M.2 slot. Ah, the profiles are all different though. But then actually, even if the profile was different, I could just put the standoff in there. B550 untested look, but no, I'm not buying something that's marked as untested.
Because that means it's tested faulty.
Yeah, untested means it doesn't work. There's a DS3H for 50 quid.
I like that the BioStar is £30 on eBay.
I mean, how bad could a BioStar motherboard be? Like, really? Surely it works, right?
And BioStar's just happy to be there.
Yeah. Oh, that was so funny. That was so funny.
They're all of the major motherboard manufacturers there.
For some reason or other, BioStar, yeah. We're not sure why, but they seemed happy to be there, yeah.
They just seemed happy to have been invited.
All right, well, here's a Tomahawk Max that doesn't eat CPUs, hopefully, for 50 quid. That looks nice. Anything wrong with it?
It doesn't eat CPUs.
Yeah. Apparently it's a power supply. Blah, 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 blah. I'll go with B550. It's too expensive, though. It's got PCI Express Gen 4. That's not going to affect this GPU, though, is it?
No.
No, it's not. So I do agree. I would like a B550. Broken RAM slot. Oh, yeah, what the hell? Was that in the description? Did I just gloss over that?
Ah!
Oh, yeah, RAM slots are broken on one side. Ah! Oh, that's a shame. That would have been good. For 50 quid, I would have bought that. I'd settle for a DS3H just because, like, this board is all reliable. These things are bomb-proof. I'd like a B550.
What is the cheapest new board on PC Part Picker?
Yeah. Okay, .PC Part Picker.
Nope.
Whoops.
Just autofill.
Yeah.
Products.
Motherboards.
Motherboards.
Right. AM4.
Sort by price. In the middle. The
Help,
drop down.
help me.
The drop down you were about to click on. Up.
So, oh, yeah. I'm tired as well, Caradog. I'm tired of living in this world.
At the bottom.
Price,
lowest to
highest.
highest. There
What's
you
the
go.
timer at? 2:41. Yeah, I'm getting mega tired. Yeah.
There we go. You can get a BioStar B450 MHP for £32. Or you could get yourself a Gigabyte A520 MKV2, which is probably actually a reasonably nice board.
Let's have a look at that.
For 50 quid.
Yeah.
Sold.
It's a bit dorky, you know, no VRM heatsinks and stuff, but it's got a run of 5600. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a micro board as well, which is a bit of a bummer. Like, the problem is that board is going to look kind of dorky in the case, and like, I know that I'm being elitist and caring about how it looks, but like, this is a PC that's going to be sold probably to a kid as his first gaming PC. They want it to look cool. So actually I do care what it looks like, you know. Yeah, you say that, Weaselbox, but kids do care what it looks like. They want a computer that looks cool, you know. So yeah, it does matter. Cool does cost money, yeah. But can we get one that actually looks nice? For £5 extra, can we have one that actually looks swish? But yeah, no, they're just... AM4 motherboards are just way overpriced.
Oh, there you go. You've got the A520 Aorus Elite.
Yeah, that one will look good. Again,
Yeah.
it's £75 though.
That's a half decent board.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for the... That's a lot of pixels there. See, like, that looks nice. That's great. But I'm not paying £75 for an AM4 motherboard.
It's
Right.
basically just a case of...
B550 was a wash, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's basically just finding cheap boards on eBay when they're being sold.
Yeah.
It's basically just looking out for one of them that's on a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have to, I might just keep an eye out. I'm also really tempted to just... conditions for parts are not working. Damn. If that was sold as second-hand, if that was sold as used, I would take a punt on that. But because it's being sold as for parts or not working, there's no guarantee that the board even works. Because they say that it works, but because it's actually listed as for parts or not working, there's zero comeback if the board doesn't work. Because no matter what they said in the description, it was sold as not working, which is really frustrating. The M2 slot broken, I would replace that. If this was sold as used, I would buy that and be like, I'm going to replace that M.2 slot content. However, because it's sold as parts not working, there's no guarantee that the board even works. eBay protects the buyer always. I think for parts or not working is the exception to this rule. An item that does not function as intended or is not fully operational. This includes items that are defective in ways that render the item difficult to use, require service or repair, missing essential components. So yeah, I think this overrides whatever is in the description. So yeah. What's in their comments? I don't care about feedback, to be honest. Yeah, like I don't think feedback is useful. Yeah. Parts only, pre-owned. That's always a crapshoot. Yeah. I want to roll the dice on that motherboard, but I'm not going to risk it. Try Machinist Mobo, Graham. What is that?
It's one of the China specials. It was the people who were making all of the like X79, X99 boards. Oh. They've also made a couple of B450s.
Interesting. No, I would not risk one of those. It'll have a wacky BIOS on it. Yeah. If you want to pay for postage, you've got a B550F Strix with torn traces on the back. Huh. Interesting. I would risk that, but... Nah, not at the moment. Yeah. Yeah. I think I'll leave it for now and I'll keep an eye out.
Basically just look and see what pops up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to see what pops up. Something will come up. I'll keep an eye on it for I'll check every other day for the next week or so and see if something pops up. I'm sad about that because with this card having shown up, basically I had all the parts ready to build that PC up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm also just really annoyed that motherboard doesn't work with it. I'm just like, again, it's like you say, it's not the end of the world. It's a broken motherboard, you throw it in the bin. It's just such a bizarre fault that's got me thinking, but what's wrong with it then? It's so close to working, you know. But, get the BioStar. Have eBuyer got a nicer picture of it? It's pretty threadbare, but what do you expect for 30 quid?